Okay, good morning. Welcome to UltimateProject26. Today we're going to take a look at some notes in Ultivillage's footage of the Revolver Sockeye game at the 2011 Northwest Regionals. This was the semifinals. They only have footage of the second half, which is fine, because it's a very, very exciting game. The game starts with Sockeye receiving the pull, and they're up 8-5 to start the second half. In the film, Revolver throws 88 passes with 5 turnovers, so they're in the mid 90s in terms of percent. Sockeye throws 100 passes with 9 turnovers, and that's in the low 90s. So it's about what we expect. Although getting to this point in the season, 9 turnovers and 100 passes is pretty high. And I'm going to talk about Sockeye's turnovers. These pass counts probably aren't 100% accurate because I kind of flew through this counting the passes. I didn't think it was that important, so sorry if they're a little bit off, but the turnovers are what I want to focus on. After turnovers, after Revolver turnovers, Sockeye had a long field 4 times and converted 2. A medium field once, converted 0, and Revolver had no short turn, so they only give Sockeye 1 gift with even a medium field, and Sockeye wasn't able to convert. After Sockeye turns, Revolver had a long field 4 times, converted twice, a medium field 3 times, converted twice, and a short field twice and converted twice. So you can see Sockeye gave Revolver 5 gifts in this half. In one half, and they converted 4. That's the difference. Revolver started the game, this half, down 3, and they finished up 1. And in a very real sense, these short turnovers were the difference in the game. So I really am just going to focus on 2 things in this game. The Sockeye turns, that I want to go through in detail, and the Revolver hucks. Because what surprised me in this game more than anything else was that Revolver didn't play as well as I thought they did, listening to the game on Sky's audio broadcast. I think there's a lot of room for improvement for Revolver, and I'm going to specifically focus on their hucks in this half. So even though they came back to win, I still think there's a lot of things they can improve on, and Sockey's turns are the first thing I want to talk about. Okay, so these are the 9, this is what I want to talk about with the 9 Sockeye turnovers. The very first turnover at 115 is the one I want to talk about in detail. Field's going this way, or Sockey's going this way. Disc is on the sideline. You have a cutter coming in wide open from the back. His defender is probably 5 yards behind him. And the Sockeye thrower tries a big arcing throw into this wide open cutter that goes over the guy's head. It's just completely unnecessary. An easy throw out to space here, instead of this big arcing throw into the guy. It costs Sockeye probably 10 yards of field possession, but it's complete 100% of the time, instead of a throw that's 50-50. So increasing the risk totally unnecessarily to get 10 yards costs Sockeye a turn. And I'd classify this turn as totally unforced. There's no defense involved here. The Revolver defender is far away, and the throw just goes over the receiver's head. So this is totally unforced, totally unforced. Okay. At 6:17, there's a drop. Totally unforced. There's no Revolver defense involved in this whatsoever. At 10:56, totally unforced. Throw into the ground. 13:59, this is I forget the Revolver player gets this. This is a sick point block. So, we'll give this one to Revolver, no question about it. These next 2 turns I'm a little confused on. It's a little hard to see exactly what happens on the tape, and I've watched them 5 or 6 times each. Here I think the disc just slips out of the thrower's hand. I think it's confusing to see, but if that's the case, this is totally unforced. The disc just slips out of the thrower's hand when he's trying to throw a long forehand. At 19:15, to me, this looks like a dropped huck. If that's the case, totally unforced. And I apologize to Sockeye if I haven't understood these turnovers properly. They're a little hard to see. 22:45 is a block dump. We'll definitely give this one to Revolver. In fact, their D, this whole point, is worth watching. Revolver's D on this point, this is I think the second to last point, is astonishing. 2353, this is a terrible huck choice by Sockeye. So I'm not going to classify this as totally unforced because the Revolver D still has to be involved to get the block, but it's a terrible choice. I'll just call this unforced. This is an unforced turnover. There's no reason they had to make that throw. But at least in this case, as opposed to these other 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these other 5 so far, at least the Revolver D had to make a play. And at 25-25, we have an out-of-bounds throw, totally unforced. So of the 9 turnovers that Sockeye had in this game, in the second half of this semifinal, I say 6 out of the 9, from the way I look at this, are completely, totally unforced, in that the Revolver D was not involved at all. A throw out of bounds, a dropped huck, this slips out of his hand, thrown to the ground, another dropped huck, and here just an unnecessarily risky throw when you didn't have to. This is going to be, I mean, you expected this game would be very hard to watch if you're Sockeye. The quality of these turns is going to be painful to watch if you're Sockeye. I mean, it's just inexplicable. These are 2 very nice defensive plays. The other 7 turns are just atrocious, and I think it's going to leave Sockeye sick to their stomach, to be honest. Okay, so now, actually, before I move on, there are, to say something positive for a second here, there are some really nice plays by Sockeye in this game that I want to point out. Their hucks, I think, are actually all pretty good. In particular, take a look at 2030. This is a huck to Moses Rifkin. It's a real nice play. His defender falls down, the thrower sees it, real nice huck. There's a very nice play by Andrew Fleming around 1750. This is a strange throw that gets caught by someone else who's not throwing it, but Andrew Fleming is the only one who keeps paying attention after the reception and ends up wide open downfield. Very, very good lesson there. And the D by Tim Garrett at 24-28. Astonishing. Now the throw's a little bit behind the thrower, but I'm not getting that D. That's a great play by Tim Garrett. So there's a lot of nice stuff for Sockeye in this game, actually. And great lessons to learn from, but their turns just, leave you sick to your stomach. Okay, now let's talk about the Revolver hucks. Okay, so over the course of this game, Revolver has 11 hucks, and I want to go through each one individually pretty quickly. Because unlike some of the games we've seen from Revolver previously, where their spacing's just incredible, here they actually don't look nearly as good. And I think if you're a Revolver, you want to go through this game pretty carefully, actually, because I do think, unlike their semifinal game at ECC against Ring, or maybe that was the final. Sorry, the game against Ring at ECC, where their spacing was just astonishingly good. Here, it's not all of this is great. So at 5:43, this is the first huck of the game. Revolver player on the sideline throws a goal to this guy. I think it's Bart Watson. But there's another Revolver cutter coming downfield. So you end up with a double cut that brings in an extra defender. So, it's kind of, this guy is not in very good position and really should be coming under, at least getting out of the way. At 6:45, disc is on the sideline. Here's just a huck out the back OB. But it's also, like the first one, it's not really well set up. There's 2 cutters cutting deep here. So Revolver's not communicating as well as they had been in previously. This one's incomplete. At 8:07, this is just a bad throw, but it's not really well set up. Disc is in the middle of the field. Bo's cutting deep. His guy's right on him. I mean, there's no separation. I mean, this is just kind of huck and hope. Let's put it up to Bo and hope he catches it. In this case, the defender makes a really nice play, but the throw's also not very good. But even though the throw's not very good, this wasn't a very good decision to begin with, in my opinion. All right, let's look at the next 3. Okay, so here's the next 3. 9:46, we actually get back to what we're used to seeing from Revolver. Very nice spacing. You have to watch this a little bit on film because it's hard to see where the cutter comes from because the film's focused on Bo. But the cutter kind of comes in like this and then curls around deep, and you have a beautiful throw out to space. This is the kind of thing we're used to seeing from Revolver. This is a great play. At 14-18, this is absolutely horrible. I have no idea what the thrower was thinking here. The cutter, if you want to call him that, is already super deep, and there's 2 defenders on him, and the guy just throws a laser that, I mean, the defenders practically don't even have to move. At 15-03, and this one's incomplete, by the way. 15-03 is just another example of huck and hope, which you don't usually see from Revolver. There's one guy sort of semi-deep and 2 defenders, and he just out-jumps them. It's complete, but this is not a good decision. This is, I mean, compared to 946, just an easy throw out to space. This is just hoping somebody can out-jump his defender. All right, here's the next 3. At 1638, you have the disc in the middle of the field. If I remember right, this is Bo running deep again. 2 defenders real close by. They just put the disc out in front of them, but there's no angle here. This is just putting it out long and hoping Bo runs it down. It's complete, but again, it's not really that great. 1848, this is actually, the cut's set up nice here, but Adam Simon just, misses the throw. He throws it out of bounds. It's too bad, because this cut actually looks pretty good to me. If the throw would have just stayed in bounds, it probably was an easy goal. In 1934, this is a nice play. Again, you can compare this 1934 to 1638 if you want. Wide open space, big throw out to space, cutter going deep with a couple steps on his defender. This is what we're used to seeing from Revolver. Not the huck and hope. All right, let's take a look at the last 2. All right, and here are the last 2. At 2110, this is, to me, another really, really good example. This is what we've been seeing from Revolver all season. Guy has a step on his defender, stays wide, runs deep into the end zone, and just a nice huck out to space. Easy goal for Revolver there. In 2540, this is the clip that's been put up online. This is the catch by Bo right at the end of the game. But it's hard to be really excited about this. The huck goes up around stall 5, so it's not high stall at all. The defender's right on him. He's running straight away from the thrower. This is just, this is just huck and hope, which is, again, I don't think it's that great. It's good that it was complete, but, I think Revolver has shown a lot better. So Revolver in this half has to be very proud for battling all the way back, and they have a couple of points that are just astonishingly good. But still, you can learn by taking a close look at their hucks. There's still a little bit of room for improvement from them. And if they, take one more little step of improvement, for Nationals, they're going to be very, very tough to beat. So good for them. This is a great game. Thanks to Ultivillage and Patagonia and Discraft for sponsoring this program. Definitely take a look at the game on Ultivillage's website. And thanks for watching.